Good morning and welcome to Morning Thoughts for Monday, the 14th of September. Morning Thoughts, very soon to be Noon Thoughts. I apologize for the lateness. This may become an issue for the next period of weeks for a while, as Ruth will have a series of almost weekly doctor's visits in the morning. And turned out to be kind of early morning, but then we just now got home from Zanesville. So anyway, but I want to give you an update, a good news update. They do not see any need at this point to do surgery. The kneecap is just a double break, but everything has stayed in alignment, and there's no evidence of any tears of tendons and connective tissue. So no need for surgery at this point. If she keeps it immobilized and straight, it should not be an issue. The bad news part of it is she's going to have to keep it immobilized and straight for probably at least 6 weeks. She cannot get in her car with it straight. She can't drive, which means I'm going to be the chauffeur. Which is okay, except that she goes different places than I do, and at different times it's going to kind of cramp the style a little bit. But that's all right. That's all right. The main thing is she's not going to have surgery, and that's the good news that we wanted to hear this morning. This morning I'm going to do this week, a series of readings on a general theme of compassion from a whole range of different writers. Scripture reading this morning is from Mark chapter 6, verses 30 through 44. The apostles returned to Jesus and told him all that they had done and taught, and he said to them, "Come away by yourselves to a desolate place and rest a while." For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat. And then they went away in the boat to a desolate place by themselves. Now many saw them going and recognized them, and they ran there on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd, and began to teach them many things. And when it grew late, his disciples came to him and said, "This is a desolate place, and the hour is now late. Send them away to go into the surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." But he answered them, "You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "Shall we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give it to them to eat?" And he said to them, "How many loaves do you have? Go and see." And when they had found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then he commanded them all to sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups by hundreds and by 50s. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing, and broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples to set before the people. And he divided the 2 fish among them all, and they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 12 baskets full of broken pieces and of the fish, and those who ate the loaves were 5,000 men. This is the word of the Lord. Reading this morning from Reuben Job. Jesus was often prompted by compassion to act on behalf of those who were suffering loss, disease, and hunger. It seems inevitable that those who follow Jesus must also show compassion in all their decisions and actions. This is especially true of those who relate to people suffering hunger, disease, and death. The followers of Jesus cannot ignore the needy of the world, and neither can we look away from the needs of the world. If our lives are modeled after the one we claim to follow, we will, as Jesus did, look with compassion on all who cross our paths. Looking with compassion requires the further step of seeking to alleviate the pain that prompted our compassion. Colossians 3 and 12 has provided a source of guidance and strength for my life for many years. As God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. The author of Colossians calls the followers of Jesus to clothe themselves with these 5 incredible qualities, and the first of them is compassion. As chosen ones, it is the only option. To be chosen as God's beloved can only evoke gratitude and goodness. Therefore, our response of compassion for the world is really a response to God's unqualified love for us. How could we respond in any other way? Jesus saw a need, had compassion, then sought to remedy the need. As Christians, we seek to model our lives after Jesus. The pain of the world draws forth our compassion and our effort to remedy the need. As God's beloved, pray this week for eyes to see the needs around you and for compassion that will prompt actions to meet those needs with loving remedy. Well, this is our thought for the day and our theme for the week as we start out, and I would be pleased if you would join me each morning, irregardless of what hour of the morning it happens to be. By the time this posts, it will not even be morning anymore, so maybe this should be midday thoughts. But at any rate, as we post, please join us and feel free to make comments or add your own thoughts to these ideas as they post. Be glad to see what you're thinking. So I wish for you blessings for the rest of your Monday. I will see you, many of you, this evening for evening thoughts. God bless you. Bye-bye.